Hi, I'm Matt Mickelson, filmmaker, sometimes Han Solo impersonator.
Careful, stay safe, stay behind me, okay?
We're in trouble.
What do you mean we're in trouble?
I think we gotta burn out the guns.
Girls, get back here! Run! I saw Solo today, and it was fun. I did not think it would be. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I actually had fun. I really thought Ron Howard did a great job pulling together. I know he had a lot to deal with, and I'm kind of glad there wasn't a slapsticky cop buddy movie the whole time, which what we were probably going to get in the first place. Who knows? But I think Ron Howard did a really good job of pulling together a solid movie. And the most important part, I came out, hey, that was fun. You know, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of things in there I wouldn't have done, I guess, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot more people making decisions on these movies than just the director. So there you go. And also the biggest thing for me, I walked out of the theater elated, as opposed to walking out of The Last Jedi like I've just been dumped and told, you know, you're not popular enough, or you didn't join the football team, so I don't want to hang out with you anymore. Because The Last Jedi felt like a big, you know, there's the door, folks. We're bringing in new fans, and we're not going to need you anymore. And I felt like this was a big, sorry about that. Here you go. The story overall, I thought was pretty good. Yes, it was a basic heist movie, and yes, this is my last job, and you know, that old cliche. But you know, that's the business he was in the first place, right? And Beckett offered kind of a big brother figure. I wouldn't say father figure. Also, I thought Alden offered a very decent performance with what he was handed. Now, on that note, once in a while you see a Harrison Ford glimmer once here and there, which I liked. And, you know, there are times that I kind of put it in my back pocket that, he doesn't look like him, he doesn't sound like him, why would they even bother doing a movie without that? But at the same time, having to deal with Hollywood and filmmaking as a whole, or the business as a whole, never wanting to have a look-alike and sound-alike. Even though they do it all the time, they still say, oh, it's the kiss of death, and I could cite you several examples where they did do that and it worked out just fine. I could cite you several examples of where they tried to get so far away from the beloved character and it totally killed everything. And there was another actor out there, Anthony Ingruber, that I thought would have been great because he looked and talked just like Harrison Ford, and I don't see the harm in it. You know, if you could bring back the old magic, do it. You know, it's right there in front of you, just grab it. But for some reason, Hollywood algorithms and executives think it's a bad idea. Usually that's a bunch of smoke and bullshit anyway. So, aside from that, I thought Alden did a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in a couple more movies. You know, great. You know, I know he was handed a bit of a shit sandwich, but at the same time, you know, what guy didn't want to be Han Solo?
Why don't you guys go get back on the ship?
Why? I don't want to be deal.
Alright, fine.
Ever. So, there you go. And my other thing, Lando, I thought was great. Donald Glover, dude, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I've seen your stand-up and everything else that you've done, and you are just a force, man. I don't know what magic pixie dust you got going on, but it's great. And I'm glad you're doing the things that you're doing, and just keep doing it. You know, give us more. And if I can't imagine anybody else that could have Lando'd the Lando, you know. That was probably the smartest decision in the whole damn movie. I can't say enough about the guy, so let alone. And also L3, that was a bit much. To the point of making me want to squirm in my seat a little bit and embarrassed for whoever thought it was a good idea. I'll let you guys pick away at that, but yeah. It'd be much better if maybe C-3PO got into a conversation with her, but the super extremely complainy human droid, yeah, it doesn't belong there. I'd like to see it done smartly in some other context. I think it was just kind of thrown in there. And remember, they could voice these things way after they shot them, so you know, they sat on that for a good time and they thought it was a good idea. So I'm not cool with that. I think it could have been smarter if they wanted to hit those points. And once again, keep current politics and crap off of Star Wars. It didn't have it in the beginning, and it shouldn't have it now. And that's the reason we all loved it, because it had nothing to do with us, and its main message was hope. And you can change things and stuff like that. It wasn't trying to point out every little problem. I mean, the original Star Wars would have been all about Vietnam and you know, the '68 riots or something, you know, and it would have destroyed it. It wouldn't be what it is. I'll leave that alone. And another thing I would have liked to have seen is more Imperial involvement while they were giving chase. Really? No officers say, whose ship is that? We should chase it. Or, who's that ship registered to? You know, let's get him. Or, why are we chasing that tiny ship, sir? Well, we think it's got this, that, or the other thing. And then when it cuts through the portal, the officers could have been like, well, that ship's gone. I'm not going to look for that guy again. You know, he's dead. He went, you know, with all the talk of what's beyond the Kessel Run, you know, they crossed him off the list. Maybe that's how Han Solo got below the radar for so many years. Who knows? They could have done a little bit more with that. You know, because in the older movies, you know, you got the remarks from the officers and their little quips, and you know, it helped make the chase because it showed them as being silly and arrogant. Also, they could. It really showed the Empire as being a brutal force, like the Roman Empire. You know, like throwing children in a cage with hungry dogs for entertainment. You know, these people were nuts. You know, it showed the brutality of, they didn't give a crap who they were fighting or who they were killing or why they were killing them. They're just taking orders and doing a gig, and the check clears apparently at the end of the month. So, good job. And I love how they engineered how Han Solo and Chewbacca met that way. How cool was that? That was fun, I thought. You know, I could complain about it, but I'm not, you know. Also, they could have, with our resident bad guy, I've heard a lot of guys bash him that he's boring and stuff like that. A lot of crime bosses are boring, but they could have had him be a lot more brutal. I know he was a little psychotic by threatening to kill people and then not threatening and then about to kill somebody and then like, maybe not. You know, but they could have had him whack a few more of his guys, maybe to get some Vader weight in there, you know, or something. They could have had him do something, because he was just a little too goody-goody, and wasn't scary enough, maybe? I don't know. And also Nest. How come Nest didn't just talk to Beckett? Apparently they knew each other. Nest could have said, hey, I'm doing the rebellion thing. I'm not really a marauder. Why don't we work together? That was a weird little add-on. And I know a lot of people have said that was a bit of a letdown, too. So that it's like this 18-year-old girl. But, you know, suspension of disbelief, I let it go, personally. But at the same time, I was just like, how come they haven't had this conversation before? That was a little like searching for a plot line and dropping that guy in. There was a ton of Solo exhibition. It's kind of like he had to tell everyone he met his little backstory. in hopes maybe they wouldn't kill him. I don't know, or feel bad for him. I'm not sure what that was about. And I really feel like it was for the audience. You know, apparently maybe Disney doesn't think that the parents that are taking their kids to see this are telling them about their favorite character, Han Solo, and where he came from, and we're not seeing this on camera. So having to retell that a few times, you know, in hopes that the kids will listen, you could have done something else at that time. I mean, we don't have to tell the kids where Santa came from. They just believe it. You know, oh, okay, he's the main character in the movie. Okay, that's cool. And he's the guy in the movie that you showed us, Dad. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, no problem. I'm down. Also, I think that about does it, ish. But I'm a big fan of Lawrence Kasdan. Actually, got to meet the guy once. Never met his son. When I met Lawrence Kasdan, I think his son was 15. So. I think Lawrence Kasdan is a freaking genius as far as writing screenplays and story and dialogue. And I saw a lot of that show through. And like I said earlier, the director isn't the only guy, and the writer isn't the only guy who has a say in what happens on screen. I mean, sure, there is a lot of 30-year-old Disney executives throwing their great ideas in there and expecting that to happen. I'm not sure how that works, of course. I'm not there. So, but I know that goes a long way to ruin a lot of movies when, you know, guys who don't even know what a camera looks like start, you know, directing from their office. And that's never good news. But my overall is, it was great. It was fun. Go see it. I don't feel like it's a bad addition. And I kind of came out of there like a little bit brighter than Rogue One. Rogue One was great, but you couldn't really get too vested in the characters because everybody dies, and you're not going to see any of your main characters from your beloved original Star Wars, and so that's okay. But overall, as a movie, it did its job. But this, seeing the creation of one of the most beloved characters in film, and you know, film lore and blockbuster lore, you really want to come out of there feeling positive about what you've seen, and I think they did it for me, and it really made up for the Last Jedi situation. And that's about it. I think that's all I got, so I guess we'll see you later, and we're gonna get out of here.